Hello, I'm with Glenn Doman, who is the director of the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential here in Philadelphia. Hi, Janet.
Hi.
I'd like to talk to you about seizure management because that happens to be one of your specialities because of having seen thousands of kids. You seem to say that seizures are a symptom of something else. Therefore, anti-epileptics may not always be the solution. Can you explain more about it?
Well, we would really look at a seizure, I think, from another side, maybe the other side of a seizure. We would not see it as something to be stopped or suppressed, but rather something to be understood.
Mhm.
And in that understanding, we have looked for what would be the reason a child would need to have a seizure. We would see it as a natural process that is there to serve some purpose. And after many years of looking at many seizures under many circumstances, it is our proposal that a seizure is a natural process. It's the body looking to solve a problem. And instead of asking, let's stop the seizure, we look to see what problem is the body having, and we solve that problem, and then the need for the seizure disappears. So in this case, medication would not help this process. It would actually make it worse.
So, what seems to be the problem when a child has seizures?
Well, for brain injured kids, the problem is almost always a lack of oxygen to the brain.
Right.
Either a decrease in oxygen or an actual stopping of oxygen to the brain. And the seizure appears to be nature's last ditch effort
Right.
to increase oxygen to the brain.
So, are there ways how you could help children or even adults to learn how to increase the availability of oxygen or oxygenation of
Yeah, there are
the brain?
many ways to improve oxygenation. Some of them nutritional, some of them some functional things, but for our children, we will first of all look to just natural things like increasing mobility,
Right.
crawling, creeping, walking, running. All of these things help to oxygenate as the child breathes more deeply, more maturely, more regularly. They get better oxygenation. The
Right.
lungs are the reservoir, and if we can keep filling them and do it better in a more coordinated way, you're going to get better delivery of oxygen. We would also use some supplementation where you can increase the efficiency with which the body uses oxygen. And then we have specific techniques to improve oxygenation through enriched carbon dioxide.
Right. So, have you, in your experience, having seen thousands of kids, and many of them not just having seizures but complex problems because of brain injury, have you seen in your experience where these kids didn't have to go back on anti-epileptics or didn't need anti-epileptics anymore?
Well, certainly we wouldn't begin anticonvulsant medication where if a child wasn't on it and was having seizures, we wouldn't use that as a tool in the toolbox to begin
At
with.
all. Okay.
If a child came to us actively having seizures and on medication, and that's common, we would first put that child on a very good, solid physiological program, supplementation perhaps, a very careful diet, a liquid balance, and we would create a program designed for maturation of the brain.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then we would commence those things first. Once that was going well, then we would begin the process of actually weaning the child from the medication very, very gradually.
Okay, that's very fascinating. I'll be speaking to Janet Doman for a 45-minute long radio interview on Unlock Your Health for UK Health Radio, where Janet is going to explain all the mechanisms of how parents can learn to support their children with brain injury, with seizures, to deal with it in a much more holistic way where they may not need medications, not in most cases. Thank you so much, Janet, for
Our
speaking
pleasure.
to me. And do stay tuned to www.uyhradio.com, and additionally, to learn all about the work of the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential, log on to www.iahp.org. Thank you. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you.